Um,
Okay.
okay. And you go by Mimi.
Mimi.
Very cool. And just to get on tape, this is a clarity session with us, and you've already signed a release form. You understand that this is going to be on public view on YouTube. Honestly, my channel's not that big, so maybe 5 people will see it. But the reason I wanted to do this series is I feel like therapy and coaching and so much of change is nobody sees it. Nobody gets to understand that everybody struggles with procrastination. Everybody struggles with being seen, and it's always somewhere tense in our body, and we can move that. But because we don't live in our villages anymore and we don't get to see people go through change
Hmm.
events, it becomes this big mystery, isolating thing. And I was like, you know what? Let's just make a bunch of them and so people can see it's not a big scary thing and it is solvable. Maybe it's not always solved in one session,
Pardon me.
but oh, you're fine. But it is a solvable thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just a normal human thing. So
Yeah. And that they're not the only one.
not the only
Because I
one.
went through a long time, even though intellectually I knew better, but psychologically, emotionally, I was like, I'm the only weirdo.
Right.
I'm so good at helping others with these exact same things, but why can't I do it for myself? I must be special.
Right. Yes, and that's so painful. And I feel like our current setup, and it just contributes to that isolation. And that isolation is so lonely and so heartbreaking. And what really bugs me about it is why I spend a lot of time kind of focused in on procrastination is everybody has something beautiful to offer the world, and it's not getting out there. But and this is just one factor. I was like, well, I can address this one piece and just let people know that you're not alone. And it's so funny. We always feel like the freak in the room, and but all of us are feeling like the freak in the room. So we're never alone. We've got these huge people feeling like freaks. I was
Uh-huh.
like, guys, this group is actually huge.
Yeah.
So you make beautiful jewelry and
Thank
you
you.
have or not really jewelry. Well, how would you describe them? They're gorgeous.
Well, my for it is ethereal armor for the soul. So what I like to do is make crystals wearable. So when I'm working with them, I never want what I'm doing with them to override the crystal. The crystals always take center stage. And I like to, as I say, like listen to the crystal.
Yes, yeah,
Like they let me know what they want to do.
yeah,
Like so I don't call myself a jewelry designer because
yeah.
the minute I
It's
try it,
something different.
yeah, it just happens mostly intuitively. The non-intuitive parts are just the specific things that must happen in order for it to be wearable. Like you have to put a chain on it, or you have to, you know, it's just the technical stuff.
Yeah.
But
So
they're pieces
you're
to help people work on whatever they're working on, or maybe even they're just drawn to a piece and then see what that opens up within them.
I love the because I was thinking about that before we got here. I was like, you're not really a jeweler. You're not really
Mhm.
making jewelry, although it's wearable, but it's wearable magic. It's wearable, it's a tool. It's coming with a whole lot of a whole
Yeah,
lot more than some shine and beautiful
yeah.
designs. So yeah.
And like sometimes, if I'm working with somebody doing energy work with them or
Yeah.
intuitive consulting, then sometimes a piece will come from that.
Oh,
So
that's really cool. So you do
yeah,
some
I love when
custom.
that happens.
Yeah. Okay. So I have noticed that you do some great posts like and I love progression posts. You know, you post the raw thing you just got in the mail and the process and it's going into the bath thing or whatever I forget the name of it.
It's technically it's an electroforming tank, but I call it the
Okay.
magical alchemical copperizing chamber.
Right. That's perfect. So, and you promote this other guy who I follow and his work. And so what
Who I'm trying to think of who that
it's a
is.
man, and I just recently,
Is it James Hunter
yeah,
Ralston,
yes,
the Talamancer?
yes,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So you promote his work. Do you have any discomfort or hesitation promoting his work?
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
No.
And I've even in the past, well, he has a very different style, and he does. I'm not sure if this is technically a correct description, but he does more like ceremonial magic pieces, actual magical talismans. Where I will describe my pieces as amulets, but they're not necessarily talismans by the strictest magical definition. So he has a completely different style and a different, I was going to say a different audience, but I've been so blessed in that he shares my work. And I've
Yeah.
actually had a, a good handful of his friends friend me and show interest in my
Yeah.
work.
I would definitely see overlap in those audiences. So it's so easy and you're so generous and you have no hesitation to sharing his work.
None.
So, but you don't feel that way about amping up sharing your work.
Well, okay, so here's the interesting thing. So I have the whole fear of visibility, which I've overcome a lot of it, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna dare to say most of it. Um, and then there's the whole procrastination bit. So where this is the biggest issue is in the business consulting I do and the energy work, working with people, the intuitive consulting. It's less of an issue with the jewelry because I get to hide behind the crystals.
Oh, I see.
See, that's not the jewelry is really less about me and more about it.
And you're in service to yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So what's interesting to me and of course demonstrates the problem is I didn't even know you did those other two things.
See, see how
And I've
good
been
I am
following
at
you. I don't
hiding.
know how we got connected, but I know I've been following you for a long time.
I think it was through Anna Bellissima's group.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so for a couple of years or more. So, and I didn't know you did that stuff. So what's different?
Um, because it's me. So previously, I was in the beauty industry, primarily retail management,
Okay.
for like 33, 35 years. And when I was on the vendor side, I was a sales manager, account executive. And in those roles, I have no problem having any conversation with anybody because
Okay.
it's not me.
Okay.
Like when I was managing beauty stores, a VP of a high-end skin cosmetic line could come in and I'd have no problem being like, "Hi, I'm Mimi. This is what we need from you. Da, 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 your sales rep this, da, 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 your inventory that." Because even though it's Mimi speaking, I'm representing the store.
I see.
Um, Same thing as like when I was a sales rep or a sales manager. It was my mouth moving, but it wasn't about me. It was about the company I worked for. So in this realm, and I've been doing the energy work for over 20 years, since like 2001. And so in this realm, it's just Mimi.
Is it
And huh?
is it though? Like
That's a good question. That's why I said, huh?
like is it really just you doing energy work?
No, you're right there, and I'm not sure where you're going with that, but I feel the truth of that. Um, and then there's the thing of I don't like lingo and verbiage. I don't like to use all the same tired language that
Mhm.
everyone else does. but then you need to a certain degree, because there's the whole communication aspect,
Yeah.
but then it's just setting myself apart from other people who might technically do use some of the same modalities that I do, but differently. So, and that's something that Tanya Daka has
Yeah.
helped me with. And I'm still working though on integrating that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I'm feeling old habits creep in, and I'm like, okay, no, I have to nip that in the bud.
What's the
So it's
old habit?
um she gave me a couple of exercises to do.
Okay.
And I do one, my morning meditations with the high priestess pose. That's
Okay.
part of that. And it's starting to feel a little formulaic to me. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I have to go back to the original purpose of this. And this is supposed to lead to something else. So I got comfortable hiding behind that.
Okay.
But I noticed that, and I know now I need to push forward and
Yes.
beyond that.
And I think you probably already know this, but in the other, like in the beauty world you were in, sales rep, doing all that stuff, eventually you can just let stuff out by rote. Like it's so boring.
Oh gosh,
You can
yes.
just spit it out in your sleep and it can get so boring.
Hmm.
And you know that you've worked through a lot when it gets boring. It feels like you're just plopping out the high priestess post, so I can check my box. But to us, it's not boring. To you,
Well,
it's
that's good to know.
to us, it's not because every post is different every day. We're
Hmm.
we're not the one tangled up with it. So the common theme I hear, and definitely correct me if I'm wrong, like you're not gonna hurt my feelings or anything, but the common theme in the three areas we're talking about, we have the jewelry, which you're fine with, or we'll call it jewelry, but
Well, we can call it that.
no,
Yeah,
it's really not. It's that same thing, common language, right? It's
right.
the struggle when you're highly creative. Then you have sales and service and helping people feel beautiful. Then you have energy work and business consulting because with that background, you have a lot to offer uh, with sales and getting comfortable with sales, not feeling like
Hmm.
a jerk when you're selling. Like there's a high need for that. Um, but what the common theme I hear is service to others. Is that fair?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's very fair.
Because why are you putting yourself through the agony of trying to get comfortable and help people with their businesses? Why are you bothering to do that? Like, do you have to do
Um,
that or you're going to be homeless? Or like, why why put yourself
well,
through it?
so I do need to so I left my previous industry January 2021, and I like to describe it as I was unceremoniously fired from a job. And so when I said, and that just came out, and I was like, okay, apparently I require ceremony, but it was very at the risk of sounding dramatic, it was traumatic.
Yeah.
It was the height of COVID. It was a very abusive,
Mm,
mentally unwell boss. I'd never been fired, and especially like that. And it turned out I was just the second of six managers that he was going to fire in a less than 3 year period. But in the moment, it was just like, oh my God.
yeah.
So I was really fortunate in that my husband was like, focus on your business.
Okay.
And he's like, I don't want you going back out into that world if you don't have to. So there is an element of I do need to build my business to a certain dollar amount. I do need to contribute more to our finances.
Okay.
And the thing that, and I try not to dwell on this too much because it's counterproductive, but it'd be so easy to kick myself in the butt relentlessly over the fact that it's been 4 years.
Okay.
And I know better.
You do because you probably had quotas, sales quotas in the
Oh,
past,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So
And then like,
I'm sure you
and
know how to hustle.
Yeah. And then, but at the same time, is that the healthy, sane way to live?
No,
Like,
no,
I
not
don't,
at
there's a
all.
reason why I'm not like running to go back into that world.
Yeah,
Um, by just, apply myself, get over what's going on in here,
right.
I
So
can do for myself what I so easily do for employers.
so the advantage you have is you do know how to do it.
Oh yeah.
You have done it. Yes, it's not healthy, but you know how. Like you got to get up in the morning, you got to contact a certain number of people, you have to reach out to people, you have to do all these things. So when we and you're choosing to, right? So that's one tweak in your language. Like you need to, do you though? Like you could go somewhere else. You could go just get a job. So you're
Hmm.
let's bring that into your personal power, which is enormous. Um, you're choosing to. This is something you desire to do. That's different than I need to. Yeah.
Hmm.
One tiny little thing.
Right.
So what I'm seeing when we're talking about it, first of all, before I get here, of course, as soon as somebody books an appointment, they're like in my energy field.
Yeah.
And your power is like this huge, volcanic, deep, passionate, and then I feel like it's got this lid, it's got a lid on top, and it kind of
That's
bubbles out. There'll be some bubbling out and some ex mini explosions. But what's really pressuring you, and I can feel it in my stomach as we're talking about it, is it really just wants to be its glorious, explosive self. What do you think?
yeah, as you said that, I had to take a deep breath.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So what's fascinating is as human beings, and we all do this too, we can do it in one realm, another realm. We can do what we're trying to do for ourselves. We can do it just fine for somebody else. We can do it just fine for a paycheck. And then it flips over here, and all of a sudden our mindset changes. But the powerful you that steps into this trust and pure channel state that allows a crystal to, a crystal that just comes in the mail to become this whole other thing that has an energetic entity almost feel to it when you look at it on the page. And you're totally fine with that. And then you can sell stuff, you understand you're selling products that serve people. They want them, they feel beautiful with them, and that helps their power. And then you come over to this and it all fizzles away. And so to circle back to where I was, your mind is telling you, oh, now it's just you and you're not enough. Well, who wants just now I'm just an
Yeah,
ordinary
it's the
human being.
vulnerability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be- so there's the walls in between these compartments, right? There's three compartments that I can see, and there might be more, but just for today, these three compartments. So when you think about this, got to take a breath because I'm so powerful. And there's all this energy trying to come through me, and it kind of gets to come through me over here. What's needed for it to come through over here? So you're talking about your business consulting and you're talking about your energy work and you're totally comfortable doing it. When you ask your body, like, what needs to happen here? What's trying to happen here? What do you see or feel?
The first word that comes to mind is confusion
Okay.
because I haven't been able to pinpoint exactly what is getting in my way. Now, and it could also just be that there could be an element of I'm tired of hearing myself say the same thing. Um,
Probably.
but I know, so like I said, there's the fear of visibility stuff. So, um,
Here's why I question that. Here's why
mhm,
that feels like a mind, it feels like an aspect of that lid on the
okay.
volcano because you don't have fear. visibility across all domains,
True.
just this one. Because you generously share your whole process with the jewelry. You're very visible about that,
hmm
but not this.
No, you'll see a random Reiki post from me, um, or
Yeah.
like I
So
have the
there,
best of intentions. I've had the social media calendar all filled out, and I'm going to post
yeah.
this, and then it doesn't happen.
Okay. So how come it can happen with the jewelry and not this? Is this a mind thing? Like you're not afraid of being visible over here or over here. You have to be visible when you're a salesperson. You have to make those calls. You have to have those conversations.
hmm
Some of them are
Because
difficult.
in those aspects, there's always been a product for
Okay.
me to hide behind. Now, um, and then there's also the part of, and one of the things I'm working on is how I don't want to put myself out there, which I've done for years as, offering Reiki. Like, first of all, like so many people do that, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are going to be people who see that and they're like, what's Reiki or what's energy work? So I'm working
Yeah.
on putting myself out there differently, finding the different language. It's like, how do I articulate what I do? And then there's so that's like where the high priestess thing came out with the session I did with Tanya. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
this is the energy within me that wants to come through.
Mhm.
So then it's like, well, if I all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm the high priestess, are people gonna laugh at me?
They
And I
might.
know that's a childhood thing.
Yeah, that's okay.
Because
Yeah.
there's the adult part of me that's like, well, I don't give a flying fuck if they laugh
Right.
at me. But
Right.
then there's lots about me to laugh at. It's never bothered me before. But again, it's the putting myself out there in such a personal, vulnerable way, combined with the getting laughed at, so to speak, or the comparison, which I know is ridiculous.
It's always going to happen. Like I
Oh
feel like
yeah.
it does get better over time, but I can still see someone like it can hit me when because I tend to go with duct tape and barbed wire systems. I it's never cohesive. It's never
Maybe that's
beautiful.
why I'm drawn to you, and
Yeah,
I feel
it's
a
just
certain
like
resonance.
it's just this clunky thing. It's like, please give me a camera. I'll turn it on. Like our video, when it goes on YouTube, it'll have a thumbnail on it, but it's not going to be edited because I just can't be bothered. I
Hmm
want us to just be human in our humanness, in
Yes.
our just natural, normal human.
hmm
So I feel like you've developed some really, well, you're very intelligent, and that makes it harder. Like it'd be
Oh,
easier if
thank
you were
you.
stupid, then we just wouldn't be having this conversation. But you're smart and you're clever, and your mind's like, oh, this will keep the lid on. Let me get tangled up in words. Let me, as this energy is trying to come out, let me create a distraction. Let's think about words. Let's think about this is personal and vulnerable. But people want personal and vulnerable, and no one can actually hurt you. So then we get into this normal human territory of we know this is all irrational. We know that no one's just going to come blow you up because you
Right.
dared to call yourself high priestess when thousands and thousands of people do it. We know it's irrational. So where is the part that hides behind all this stuff, these distractions? Where's that part? It's like I want to do this, but I need to not
Okay.
in your body. Like where is
Yeah, in my stomach.
I
I
feel it
felt
in
that in
my
my stomach. I
yeah.
feel it in my stomach, and then I saw like a corner and this little being all balled up in a corner, which was a
Mhm.
little interesting.
Okay. Yeah. So because the invitation in this container always is, I'm going to hear your mind creating all these things, but then I feel in my body what's happening. I won't, that's why I ask questions, of course, because I don't know what that
Right.
feeling is, but I feel it in my stomach whenever so we go away and that stomach settles, and then we come back and here's that stomach again. So there's this little being in the corner, but all balled up. So if it's okay with you, let's just dive into that and go sit by it or her or whatever that
Can
is.
I share one other thing that I should have
Sure.
mentioned this earlier on,
Okay.
but it just came to mind. So I had made a connection a few years ago. So there was this girl, Gina Naranjo, from kindergarten all the way to graduation day of 12th grade, bullied me. And it
Oh,
wasn't it
okay.
wasn't horrific, but it was just that
Doesn't
constant
have to be.
teasing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It did,
Yeah.
like I wasn't beaten, it wasn't physical or violent, but sometimes it's more mean the other way.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
and I
yeah.
made like one day, I'd written about the fear of visibility stuff, and one day I was in the car and it just hit me. Like I connected that back to my experience with her all through school. So it was like, for whatever reason, she looked at me one day and didn't like me. So being visible to her got me teased and picked on for
Right.
13 years from kindergarten through 12th grade.
Yeah.
So that I know there's a connection with that.
Okay.
So that might help that little creature in the corner.
Yeah. And of course, like you're safe. Every time you get close to taking the lid off that volcano, your safety seeking self is like, you better not. You're gonna get hurt. What's her name's gonna come out of the woodwork and torment you. And it's easier. This sounds strange, but it's easier when someone's getting hit because it's
Yes.
easy to identify and it's very,
Yeah.
very cut and dry, black and white. It's wrong. But when
Right.
someone's like mean girling you,
Yeah.
it's in the shadows. It's hard to identify. People tell you, oh, just toss it off. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. But it's extremely damaging. And then you're left all alone with it again because that's the way we handle it.
Hmm.
We don't handle it. So, yeah. So, this little critter in the corner, what is that? Where do you feel it? How does it feel?
Right in the pit of my stomach.
Okay. And so just imagine that we're in energy space, you can do whatever you want. We're just gonna sit by that little creature and let's just ask it, like, what are you? Who are you? See what happens. You just ask inside yourself.
The first word that came was afraid.
Yeah. And so breathing into that and holding space for this part to relax a little and inviting it to have a conversation with you. Like, will it sit up? Will it talk to you?
She did. She sat up.
Okay. And what's she connected to? Why is she all by herself in a corner in your stomach?
She likes it there.
Mm. It feels safe or
It's familiar.
okay.
It's known territory.
Okay. And why is she here as we're having this conversation? What part does she hold?
Oh my God. Because it might be familiar, known territory, but she's kind of tired of it.
Yeah, it's kind of boring, sounds like.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
It's that.
yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
It's that thing. It's like she's throwing one of my memeisms in my face. Like just because it's comfortable doesn't mean it's good.
Right. It's like babies in a poopy diaper thing.
Hmm.
Like they're fine with it, and we're like, no, you can't be comfortable with that. So, what piece does she hold about starting to share openly about what you really want to do?
Hmm. Yeah, that's the word that came was wisdom.
Okay. See if you can get more about that. What does that mean?
Um, I love being called on my shit. Um,
I love calling you on shit.
she said that I need to be that it's not like I'm not showing the truth of who I am. And that's where the wisdom is.
Okay. And so remind her that when you try to show the truth of who you are, all this stuff happens in your body. And what are you supposed to do with all of that? Because it's real too.
The word breathe came, relax, acceptance,
Okay.
being nervous is a sign that something can be a sign that I'm on the right track.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, she's kind of smart for.
So now imagine that you're in front of the computer and you're about to do a live stream or something that talks really openly and honestly about what you do and what you can offer.
Does it have to be live or can it be recorded and
Hey, it
uploaded?
can be whatever. At this point there's fucking nothing. So we'll take whatever we can get.
I have an issue with lives, and
No, it's
it's
okay.
not what one would obviously think.
It's totally fine.
Well, she just told me to get over that.
Lives help. Lives do help.
Yeah. I just hate that beginning of like, hi, 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 hi,
Don't even
hi.
say it. Don't even say any of
Yeah,
that.
I used to do lives a few years ago here
Okay.
and there. So I just need
Okay.
to get back to that.
Yeah, and just dive right in.
Hmm.
Ain't
And
no
whoever's
point.
there
I'm
is
here
there.
because I want to tell you something. Or if you don't even have to say hi, you just launch right into it.
Hmm.
I want to share some stuff with you today. I
Yeah.
want you to stop thinking you have to do business in a cookie cutter way. I want you to stop looking at energy work as limited by a label. I want this. I'm talking about that. Don't even say hi to the people.
Hmm.
So we know those intellectual pieces. We know that it's you need to breathe and relax. It's going to be uncomfortable. You already know
Part of me.
that. You can do that. You're capable of doing that. You understand that. But with this little part of you now in your imagination, sit down and do it. And where in your body is like, no, I don't want to.
So the interesting thing is she went from sitting and being really dark to standing and
Okay.
very light in color. And it's
Okay.
almost like she's lecturing me, but
Yeah.
in a loving way.
Yeah.
Um, and that like reminding me that I know what I need to do. And it's almost like she's relieved.
To be seen or
Yeah, and to be standing instead of balled up in the corner. So, and I'm sorry, what was your question?
that's okay. When you imagine like, okay, she's standing and now it's Monday morning and I got to get to that content calendar and I have to actually do the thing. Can you feel doing it or do you feel like Monday at 9 o'clock is going to come and you're not going to do it?
Um, no, it feels like I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would. technically it would be in the afternoon because I work in the morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a part-time job.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I yeah, it's okay, what I'm getting is it's checking in with myself,
Okay.
which I have not been doing. I have not been meditating
Oh, okay.
the way I know the way I know would benefit me,
Yeah.
which is also nor have I been meditating in the way that I suggest to others.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's checking in with myself.
Yeah.
And that's why the high priestess stuff became formulaic because I little by little haven't been checking in with myself as much.
Yeah.
So,
When you, so there's the you that makes the jewelry. There's the you that can do sales and you can do it now in a healthy way. So the energy that you step into when you're making that jewelry, can that cross over to here? Can you also trust the flow in that same way when you're doing high priestess work and those
I need
posts?
to write that down because that no, that's exactly what needs to happen.
What I'm hearing is that there's a part of you, because you care so much also, you're taking on a responsibility that isn't yours to take. It's not, it's not you. You're still a channel and a conduit and a deliverer of things that people need, whether that's concepts or crystals. You're still that channel, you're still that power because you've agreed to be.
Hmm.
And the only missing piece that I can see is giving that part of you permission to be here too. Like to not shove that part of you in the corner. Like you can't play over here because now I'm doing business stuff. Now I'm doing energy work and my mind's going to spend all its energy worrying about words and how to talk about it rather than just talking about it imperfectly. It doesn't feel like there's any part of your life that's just you, except mind can close the door on, can put the lid on that volcano and say, well, you can't come out
Hmm.
here. You can't come out in this playground.
Yeah, and what I just wrote down that you made me realize is with the services, I'm too in my head,
Totally, totally.
way too in my head, whereas with the
Yeah.
jewelry, I'm not in my head that much at all.
No, you step into your power and it's you, but it's not you. It's you and all the other things that we can't see.
Hmm.
And you trust it over there, but you don't trust it over here.
Hmm. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm definitely feeling something. Okay, it's like I'm feeling a lot of presence,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Hello, we're here to help you." Okay,
Yes.
that's really interesting. Like yeah, I'm getting the goosebump thing.
Yeah.
And I haven't had that in a little while. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and I've got them, I get them down the left side, and I've just got ripples of goosebumps down the left side. So it feels like some of your ancestors come, and some of your, I feel like you have a special connection to planetary energies of those elements of earth and fire and air and water, like the pure
Hmm.
fire that is in that volcano, which is transformative in the extreme.
Hmm.
It is alchemy.
Hmm.
So, talking about things that sound boring on the surface, when you're in that state of trust and you're channeling or you're flowing or you've set your mind aside for that time, then it doesn't matter how boring the words are, the people who need you will find you because you're lit up and you're radiating that heat.
Hmm.
So when you're in, I call it healer mode. So I always have to tell myself, like, get into healer mode. Set yourself aside. This isn't about you. This is what I say to myself. This is not about you. This is about whoever's going to hear this podcast episode, whoever's going to read this post. It's about them. So
Hmm.
everything is of service, and it can't come from your mind. And that's where I think a lot of inadequate feelings of inadequacy come from, is we're trying to come from a part of ourselves that literally can't do it. It is inadequate. It's not capable. It can't
That's a great
do it.
point.
Yeah, our mind can't do it. It can't change.
Hmm.
So it's like this little kid trying to be a professional and deliver this service, and it's literally incapable of it. And then we feel like we're dumb and we can't do the thing. Well, we can't from that part.
Hmm.
So where is the connection point? How do we bridge the Mimi that does this over to the Mimi that does business consulting and those kinds of things? What does your system say? What does she say about
Well, my heart, I
your
just felt something in my heart.
yeah,
Hmm. And the interesting thing too is in the meantime, while we've been talking, she's transformed into the high priestess.
perfect.
So now we have officially bridged this session with you with the session with Tanya.
Perfect. That's great. So it takes a village.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, when you asked that question, my heart started, it was like a vibration I felt.
Yeah. And the heart's the crossroads between upper world, middle world, lower
Hmm.
world, our shadow. Everything is held in the heart. And there's literally nothing that can come at you when you're in that heart space that's going to harm.
Hmm.
It might hurt your human heart for a second. It might make you be like, oh yeah, well, fuck you, or like, ow, that reminds me of
Right.
that bitch that tormented me for 13 years. And you might take a little hit, but the high priestess energy is right there to go, that's okay. Let
Hmm.
me comfort that little part, that little part of you that got tormented. And now let's just pick up and keep right on going. Because we don't want to invalidate those feelings. They're true.
Right. No, they need to be acknowledged and honored even.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And you mine those experiences and your other lives, your other career lives, and the things you do in the jewelry, which does make you unique when you're bringing that to people who are trying to build a business and they're afraid and they're not able to get clear on what they want to do and, all the typical things.
Hmm.
So, how does this high priestess, like, what's the connection to that volcanic energy, that heat and that fire? What needs to happen with that, if anything?
Hmm. I, I'm getting two conflicting things, but the overriding one seems to be an integration of sorts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Another.
definitely an integration of sorts.
Yeah. Are you able to, and what's the other one? The
Which,
conflicting one?
oh, well, at first I felt like keep them, for whatever reason, it was like I didn't, I saw them separate.
Yes.
But then so I felt like maybe they're meant to be separate. Then I was like, well, that makes no sense. And I'm like, Mimi, get out of your head.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, no, there has to be an integration of some kind.
Do you need to create a ceremony for that, for your merging these different worlds and your different skills and your ownership, almost like dedicating yourself to what you know exists within you. And if it's you or not you, it doesn't really matter because you have access to it. You use it all the time in other areas. So I just wonder if it would be good or helpful to have her to tap into her, to get out of your head, to fall into that vibration sensation in the heart and tune into all that other stuff that you so easily bring to the jewelry process and create some sort of dedication process or a new piece for you to, like a talisman, to just kind of remind the mind, like you, when you feel inadequate, it's because you're trying to do a job, it's not yours. You're not inadequate. You're just in an area right now that's not yours to do. You can't do it.
The piece might actually be a work in progress that's sitting out in my
Oh,
studio.
well, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, because there's a piece that I knew specifically was going to be mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it just popped in my head.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
If that part falls into like just simple behavior modification, you pick that thing up and you step into the zone and then you do a live stream. And you don't do the stuff that's boring because you just show up with full permission to allow all those parts of you to flow through. So so then it can become the you, not you, the
Mm-hmm.
all of you, the both and the you, the physical container that has agreed to be a voice for all this other stuff. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you have your
Yeah.
hiding place again. You have,
Well, yeah, but it's like it's okay, if this makes any kind of sense, it's more like hiding in an authentic way, like
yes.
because like a few years ago, I said to my husband and I were talking. He's like, "You need a persona."
Yes.
He's and I was like, "Yes, absolutely," but I never did anything with that. And then with this session with Tanya, when we did she took me through a meditation, for lack of a better word,
Yeah.
and and it was like, okay, she's like, okay, who came through? And I was like, the high priestess. She's like, yes, that's exactly what I saw. And so it's like when I am posting or talking about my work, I'm to be letting her speak, like that aspect of me
Yes.
speak.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, cats are
mm,
fighting.
oh, please never apologize for anything cat related.
That's feels very
Yeah.
true to me because it it gives your mind a place to rest and develop
hmm
trust. Like,
Well,
go ahead.
it also gets to I don't know if it shuts down, but it silences my inner critic.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Your when you first said, well, I'm struggling with it because it's just me, and it's like, but it isn't. It isn't ever just you. Well, it's just you when you're off track and you're not connecting and checking in with
True.
yourself.
Yeah.
That
No, that
so
was a big realization, you saying that.
yeah. So the nice part about all this is when you feel insecure and inadequate and you're struggling and you're procrastinating, you're like, oh, I'm doing it. I'm approaching this from the part of me that isn't designed to do this. Let me step into, oh, I'm supposed to be, let me get my talisman thing that I made. Let me hold that to my heart and remember who the fuck I am and go talk from the voice that's also here. We have all the voices, right?
hmm
So High Priestess gets to start talking to people unobstructed. The insecure
Yeah.
part of us is never going to go away. You know
True.
that. But and it's good for accounting, like
Yeah.
managing the bills. Like we need that part, but it can't
Yes.
serve the world in this giant volcanic capacity.
Right.
If you had 5 minutes and a megaphone, what would you want people to know about business, about their business? Like if I could just tell them this one thing.
Okay, here is going to sound ironic. Be present.
Yeah.
Be present. Um, and it's completely doable. Yes, there are certain things that have to be done. It's just,
Boring
business,
stuff.
right? But in order for business demands certain things in order to grow and move forward and be successful. But aside from that, hi Kitty. But aside from that, there's plenty of room to play and have fun with it. And if you're not having fun with your business, then why are you doing that business? So
Yeah.
then it's about helping people recover that sense of fun. Like maybe it's just reprioritizing or realigning certain things to rediscover um, the aspects that bring back that excitement.
Yes. Yeah. So another way to look at this, oh, the sound might be weird because he's like marking the microphone that's
Ah,
down here. Um, so another way to look at this is what you've been going through is exactly what your clients are going through right now.
oh yeah, there's another level of irony too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gives you words for copy. You've just been feeling all that.
Hmm.
My stomach, my hesitation. I've got the social media calendar and I'm not doing it. It's years are slipping by, la la la. So you know exactly how to write exactly to that woman who's out there experiencing that right now. Her high
That's
priestess is
true.
offline. And we
Hmm.
know that, so part of the language struggle is we know the transformation we really offer, but that's not what they're up in the middle of the night Googling. They're not Googling where's my power. They're Googling how do I get through the day? How do I calm my anxiety? What do I do for my anxiety? What do I do for all the my autoimmune stuff that flares up when I'm not living my authentic life? Like they're not looking for that. So you have the pain language you can talk to without being skeezy about it because you're in it. You know it. You know how it feels. All that
That's
frustration.
true.
Yeah. So the gift in all that insecurity and inadequacy and that horrible person that tormented you is you get to tap. That's a gold mine of sales page copy. Why are you being a dick? He's running around like irritating
What's his name?
his name is Juniper Hoot.
Juniper.
He always
Oh.
comes over when the energy is high.
I
And
love black. I mean, I love all cats, but there's
yeah,
something about black cats. I
yeah,
have a black
super
cat.
cool. Yeah, I love him. He's old. He's like 16 almost.
Oh, wow.
I'm counting that. I know my time is limited, so I'm just like, don't leave me.
I had one cat that lived to 23.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
23 it is. You're not allowed to leave. So when here's what I would do. I don't know if you like writing or voice recording better, but when we're done or soon, I would voice record into a Google Doc or somewhere, capture this language while you're leaving it behind. Like you're understanding, like there's this me and there's this me and there's this me and there's this high priestess, and she comes through, and I'm in my heart and I'm tapped into the elements of everything, and I'm channeling my live streams. But capture that part that feels weak, can't do it, vulnerable, it's so personal and vulnerable, can't move past that. Really describe that in rich detail and how that feels when you're in that state, and bring that to your sharing, your social posts, your copy. Like I know you have the best of intentions. You said this, you have the best of intentions, and you've got your calendar, and yet somehow you're cleaning the garage instead. you know? So when I'm reading that and I'm in that state, I'm like, she's inside my damn head. She gets it. She knows it. Because you do.
Hmm.
And then just getting out of the way and let's see what names come forward for your work and your offers and get into the
It's
fun.
funny that you said that because that's what I'm working on next. Is because I've
Oh,
been updating,
my
I've
God.
been revising my website, and
Okay.
that's the exact next thing that I'm working on is the names of the offers.
Yeah. Let her get,
Funny how you tapped into that.
that's my job.
I know. You're good.
Thank you. This is what I love to do. But I have to also get the hell out of the way. Because
Hmm.
if my brain was trying to find a strategy here, it wouldn't work. Because I'm just like, oh, I feel something in my stomach. I know that's not mine. So that has to be yours. Oh, I'm seeing this volcano and feeling this pressure trying to come out into the world, but it can't, you know? So you do that too. And you have street cred. Like there's so many, this makes me crazy. There's so many business coaches out there that have never really done business. Like they've never been in the trenches. They've never had to get up and go sell
No.
stuff when they were sick or their boss was being a jerk or whatever. Like they don't have that and you do.
Yeah, it's funny because I started the consulting well first I was being very methodical in Capricorn. I was creating
I
my
have a
outline.
Capricorn rising, so yeah.
Okay, so I was creating the outline, and so I think it was the end of 2022. I'm creating the outline so I can, start putting myself out there. And then an acquaintance who became a friend messaged me, and we knew each other from the magic groups, and said, "Can you teach me about marketing? Do you have a course? How much is it?" And I said, "Funny you should ask." I said, "I'm actually working on that right now." I said, "I have all the experience and knowledge necessary to help you." I said, "I just don't have an actual structure or program in place at this point, but let's do it." So that's how I started doing it officially. And then I got another and then another. Um, but where I was going somewhere with this. Where was I
Names.
going with
You were
this?
talking about you're in the process of naming your offers
Yeah,
and
so but like oh yeah, I don't want to put myself out there as a business coach. So I always describe it as business consulting because they can also
yeah,
hire me to take on certain tasks for them. Like
sure.
and but even beyond that, so it's coming up with a different name for that. So but yeah, when I hear business coach, I'm just like, because there's and it's like you said, there are plenty of people out there who've taken that label or title, but don't have actual hands-on experience running a business. I've run so many other people's businesses.
Right.
And I've seen the anywhere from like Neiman Marcus to family-owned stores.
Okay.
So
One of the gaps I see, and I won't say wasted, but sometimes it feels like wasted. Like I've taken so many business programs that never taught me to sell. I have no experience selling. And my resistance to it is always like, yeah, well, selling's icky. But what I'm finding out now that I've surrendered to it is it doesn't have to be icky at all.
no.
It doesn't have to. So you have all that too. And so bringing the sacred back into sales, like helping people to understand you got to get people on a video call. They don't know you, they can't feel you. You got to get people in the seats and you have to sell your stuff to them. But bringing that sacred into it, making it, it's magic, but
Yeah.
just it's sacred. It's a sacred act to offer someone access to your energy field. It's very intimate. And when you come from that place of like, I'm not selling you a program, I'm offering you my wisdom. I'm offering you my
Mm-hmm.
painfully learned experiences
Yeah.
I suffered. I don't want you to suffer. And come into my container or don't. Like, I don't care, but I'm going to talk to you like the sacred human being that you are. And I'm going to talk to you from the high priestess. And you're going to sit on a sales call with me, but you're going to get something out of it.
Thank you for that. Because, okay, talking about bridging information,
Yeah.
when I was a manager, in this one particular job, if a salesperson called out sick, I would have to take their place
Yeah.
and I would assume their sales goal. So if I had a sales goal of 1500, I would struggle. But when I wasn't floor coverage, if I just happened to be on the sales floor doing whatever and a customer needed help, just I looked at it as just sharing information and
Yeah.
I could sell like crazy when I had the perspective of sharing information.
Being that
So
conduit.
so you just showed me that I need to transfer that mentality into this and that feeling into this.
Healing. Yes.
Yes.
It's to me the if we wanted to boil this entire session down to one word, for me, it would be trust. You trust yourself as a channel in these compartmentalized areas, and the only thing to do is to dissolve those walls, to mentally understand, oh, when I'm inadequate and I'm procrastinating, I'm approaching this from the part of me that literally cannot do it. I need to check in with myself. I need to meditate. I need to remember who the fuck I am. I need to not today, Satan, like deal with the distractions. And I need to drop back into my heart that is in service to this planet, person by person by person, heart by heart by heart. When you start asking people to come have a conversation with you and you've activated all of that, that is compelling. And it
I
is,
just got that chills thing again.
yeah, it's
Mm.
pure service. What you have to offer is amazing, and it's not egotistical to own that. And if the human part of you needs to hide behind or step into a persona, oh, there's a great book by Todd Herman called The Alter Ego. And he talks about how Beyonce had to develop Sasha Fierce because she couldn't
Mm-hmm.
go on stage and act like that. She couldn't access that part of herself. She had to create an alter ego and step into that. So stepping into healer mode, stepping into high priestess mode, whatever mental tricks you need to play with yourself, and allowing then trusting the flow of what that's sitting on your workbench right now that's coming through for you. I have a teacher, when you're nervous, step into service. When you get nervous, you're in mental mode. When you step into service, you're in pure channel. And you're just
I
sharing
like that.
information. You're just sharing information. You're not hurting anybody. You're not being a sleaze bag.
Mm-hmm.
And the other multi-layer of that is that person, whether they work with you or not, is going to have been given the gift of stepping into your energy field for 30 minutes. And that's a gift to them, whether they're ever aware of it or not. So every
Thank
sales
you.
call is a gift you give. It's an offering. It's sacred. So there might be something in that language. You can also take all that language. I don't know how comfortable you are with ChatGPT, but just to get ideas. Like
Yeah.
SEO optimized title for bringing the sacred to sales, sharing information, all these things, and just see what it spits out. More than half of what it spits out will be pure trash.
Right. But there will be some good stuff in there
It'll
too.
trigger you. It'll be like, oh, that's cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very good at brainstorming.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it for some things like this and like for creating an outline then for me to
Yes.
take and run with. And then there are other aspects that I'm completely opposed to,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
like using it for personal correspondence.
Oh no, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's a blessing and a curse. It has a
Yeah.
consciousness of its own also.
Hmm.
So, so how does that feel like when you think about this now and getting your shit together and doing some marketing? How does that feel then?
It feels good, and it's like what I like is like this was a complete on its own session.
Yes, yeah.
At the same time, it very much mirrored my session with Tanya. So it's like it's
You're getting it from
so I
all
feel
angles.
well, yeah, I'm hearing the same thing
Yes.
in
Ah,
different ways.
right.
And yeah, it's fascinating to me, but it's like it's hitting home.
Yeah.
It's hitting home. It's like two different perspectives of the same thing. And yeah, the words aren't coming easily, but I
Okay.
know what I'm feeling,
Okay.
if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. And capture that feeling before it disappears. So that because you do that too, right? You'll be doing that too, only it'll be in your voice. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why we can't ever worry about the 100,000 business coaches that are out there and we don't want to sound like them. That's you won't ever sound like them because it's your
Mm-hmm.
voice. I won't sound like Tanya, you won't sound like Tanya. You won't sound like me, I won't sound like you, because we're each channeling that different aspect through the lens of our lived experience and our beliefs
Mm-hmm.
and our worldviews and all those things. So it's always going to be different, and we don't have to even give a thought to what other people are doing.
Right. Just I just need to not be in my head so much.
And so one way to say that differently is, instead of I can't do this, I can do this. I just need to remember to step into her. I just
Mm-hmm.
remember to, and so instead of resisting something, we're going toward the thing. Okay, I'm gonna put this to bed. I'm gonna step into high priestess mode. You might get a name. I'm gonna step into that version of Mimi, and then I'm gonna make a live stream, and then I'm gonna write the social post, then I'm gonna do the website from that space, which you
Mm-hmm.
already know that space because you've been doing it elsewhere, like all over the place.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, you know how to make the shift.
Thank you.
How exciting!
Thank you.
And remember to mark your posts public so I can share them.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, that part, that's one thing where that I do practice what I preach. I
Yeah.
had one client, I'd always be like messaging her, can you please make this public so I and others can share it?
Yeah, so frustrating.
Yeah, that part I pretty much have down.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get a gold star on that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
just
that
need
is
to
a
have
big part of
more.
visibility. Yes, this is
Yeah,
really going to be very easy for you because you already know how to
thanks.
do it. Like it's just a gear shift. And you just needed to hear it from a couple of different places to make the switch and go, oh, I know this. I know who I am. I know who she is. I know how to do this. I do it all the time in jewelry. I did it at the department store or wherever you were selling stuff to people.
Hmm.
I'm just sharing information. Okay, so what I want to say before I forget is because it just came back to me. That's the gap in the market. Nobody's teaching sales. They're teaching marketing. Here's how you get people on your list. Here's how you get people, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's teaching in our world of magicians and, the outer fringes of whatever. Nobody's teaching sales. That's different.
Oh
Get
yeah.
people in the door, but then people don't know that, first of all, they don't know that they need to sell. They don't know that they've got to
Yeah.
have those conversations in the DMs. They don't know that they've got to create a freaking calendar link and invite people to a coffee chat or whatever. They don't know they have to do it. And then when they know they have to do it, they don't want to be that. But no one's offering, you don't have to be that. You can be this. And I don't see anyone offering that.
Hmm.
And my business has plateaued, struggled for 10 years, and it's only this year that I'm like, sales. I have to go there, and I can make it my own, and I can make it sacred, and I can bring that energy to that. I don't see anybody else teaching that.
That's true.
So
That's true. Everything's focused on the marketing. But then what do you do after that?
Right.
Yeah. No,
Right.
you
People are like, great, I've got 500 people on my email list. What the hell do I do with them?
sell them something.
Right. You got to sell them something. They're not
They're
on.
on your list for a reason. They're interested in what you're doing.
Exactly. Exactly. Nobody's teaching what do you do now? And how do
Hmm.
you educate your nervous system to be comfortable when you look at your calendar and see 5 people have signed up for 30-minute sessions? Even to the practicality of don't book yourself back to back to back. Use a calendar thing, build yourself a gap to go get a drink
Yeah.
of water, to recenter, and to do what you just did to remember who the fuck you are. Maybe it's that. Some kind of program like that. Like, you're not this sleazy car salesman. You never will be. You literally can't be because that's not who you are. Let's take the ick off sales, teach people how to do it.
Hmm. I like that.
I'd love to see you doing that. I'd love to tell everybody about that. I don't want to do it. I'm barely learning it myself. I never did sales. I was social worker, therapist, worked with
Hmm.
cops, worked with government agencies. I don't know how to sell. So, how exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
I can
You
feel
definitely
like
got me
your
thinking
wheels
and
turning. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh. So, and you don't have to do that by yourself either. You can ask her, like, hey, bring me the program. I'm ready.
Hmm.
Writing copy. Let me play with Chat GPT. Get out of the way. Step into High Priestess mode. Let that magic happen. And you know it's going to be as easy as making jewelry. What questions
Yeah.
do you have?
Um, none that are immediately coming to mind. Nothing, because I feel like this has been very thorough.
I try to cover all the bases.
Well, I'd say you succeeded.
Let's find the problem, identify it, find the solution, make a plan.
Yeah. No, nothing's coming to mind.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to stop the recording and then I just want to go into
Sure.
the mechanics, but thank you so much for doing this. It takes a
Oh.
lot of nerve to,
Well, it was a good practice in being vulnerable publicly.
yeah. Yeah, and you can use this. It's going to be on YouTube. You can say, look, I had to go get help with it.
Hmm.
I was stuck. I got help from 2 different people to finally bridge the gap and go, wait a minute, this is nothing. So,
Yeah.
okay, let me stop that.